Let me give you a scene that happened in this film that is completely trash, but it was epic. This is what the Russos did to trick you.
Gracias por ver la esquina de Jody. Thank you for watching Jody's Corner.
YouTube was good. It's your boy Jody Joe. Welcome to Jody's Corner. Fresh off the motherfreaking airplane, just touched down in Los Angeles. I'm back from my vacation. I landed about 3 hours ago, and we're getting right into this motherfreaking spoiler review. I got a lot to say. Now, I told you guys how I felt about Infinity War. You know I gave it a C grade, that mediocre status, and a lot of you motherfreakers didn't like that. A lot of people on my channel show respect because they know that I tell the truth and it's my opinion always and all the time. I keep it real. But some of y'all fanboy motherfuckers got triggered, and I expect that. But sit back, listen, let me lay these facts down for your ad. I have a lot to say, and this is gonna be spoiler heavy, as you guys already know, and I'm gonna try to, there's so much travesty in this film, and it's so epic at the same time. So forgive me, this is not a rant. This is an explanation of why I gave the film a C. And it might seem like I'm ranting, but I'm proving my case. I'm going to be shedding light on the negative things that you guys don't see, that you guys probably still don't see, but after this video, you guys will see the shit. And whether you choose to believe it or not, or it affects your grade or not, that's on you, Jack. For me, I gotta keep that shit 100, and here we go. I'm gonna try to keep it contained, but there's so much trash. Help me. Okay. We all know that the beginning of this MCU get down was what? 10-year buildup. Thanos building him up, trying to build him up. But if you ask me personally, they didn't show Thanos enough in post-credit scenes for us to get a real idea of who he actually is. I want to establish that right now because that's very important. We got an end credit scene at the end of Guardians, like at the end of Captain America 1, and there was like another one. I think there was like 3 or 4 post-credit scenes of Thanos, and he was only saying a few words, and he only put a glove. He didn't say much. We didn't know anything about him except that he's powerful. We knew this already. Everybody feared him. So we already understood coming into this film that Thanos was powerful. But what we needed, but we haven't gotten, was who is this character Thanos? What is he about? What's his resolve? What's his belief? Because like I tell you guys, the best villains are the villains who have beliefs and believe what they're doing is right. And they have a certain rubric that they live by. Stuff like Killmonger. Killmonger is an amazing villain. He's the #1 villain in the MCU because of this. He has reasons why he is a certain way. Magneto has reasons, his beliefs. Those make the best villains. Zod. So when Infinity War came out, and it just automatically throws you into showing him. Like, I believe they wasted his epicness. The film could have like teased him a little bit in the film. Instead, the very first shot, you see him on a ship and you see him in the background. Like, he's not even in the foreground. They don't give him epic music when he walks up and speaks. He's just in the background when someone else is talking. You could see him. And I'm like, wow, you guys are wasting the first reveal on Thanos in a blurry background. I'm like, okay, you guys should have introduced him more epically. He comes out with a deep voice. I'm done talking. I'm done playing. It's time to get it done. Nothing like that to that matter. He was just bodying motherfuckers, and that's okay then. That's okay. This film gave me no answers as to who Thanos the Titan is. The only thing that this film gave me was, I'm from Titan. I propose to our people that we delete half of the population in order for us to survive. And years later, I was right. Now look at it. Now I want to give this to the entire universe. Nigga, what? There's no reasoning behind that. Some people are saying, oh yeah, that was his reason because he wants to delete half. He wants to bring balance to half the universe. Well, why? The question is, why does he want to do this? What's his story of why? Well, the Russo brothers probably cut it out because there was a news article said that they cut out Thanos' origin. It's not in this film. I'm not talking about his resolve because clearly in the film he had the belief in his mind that it's best that half balance to the universe. I understand that. Where'd you get that from though, bruh? Where did you get this ideal? What happened to you to make you think this way? You can't just say, I feel this way and not explain why. Usually when all the time. When people think certain things or believe certain things, it's a reason for it. But in this film with Thanos, there's no reason because they didn't explain it. We didn't get it. It's empty. So I have no idea what his motivations are and why he has the motivations. We know his motivations is just bringing balance, but why though? So that's a big question mark that's not checked in this entire film. That's an L. Killmonger and all these other great villains, even Loki and Hela, they have reasons. I'm going to make a case right now that, and it's going to sound blasphemous when I first say it, but this is a fact, Jack. We tarnish and we hate on the DCEU movies and we trash them when they bring out villains that aren't living up to par. Well, Steppenwolf is a more fleshed out villain than Thanos. Yeah, I said it. Steppenwolf from Justice League is a more fleshed out villain from Thanos. Now let me tell you why. Thanos has no backstory. We don't know why he's doing what he's doing, do we? No, we don't. He wants stones to bring out the ideal that he has. Well, in Justice League, Steppenwolf was working for a higher power, for my mother, for Darkseid. He established that all the stupid things and the evil things that he was doing was for a higher purpose, for Darkseid. It was tied to somebody. He was a minion of somebody else. He was doing he was executing the will of Darkseid on behalf of Darkseid and Apocalypse. Thanos doesn't have that box checked. Let me tell you why Steppenwolf gets wrecked. Steppenwolf gets wrecked because, yeah, he is a weak villain. I'm not trying to say that Steppenwolf is a good villain. No, he's weak. I'm trying to say that Steppenwolf was even more fleshed out of a character than Thanos. Let me flip the script. Let's say Steppenwolf was built up in the entire DCEU. Let's say Steppenwolf had a post-credit scene in Man of Steel. I'm going to go down and I'm going to show Kal-El what it means, Darkseid. We will know. We will see. And then it'll go off. And then he had another post-credit scene at the end of Batman vs. Superman. Lord Darkseid, we're almost ready. Ooh, Steppenwolf, who's that guy? Steppenwolf, he's coming. He's coming. Other people fear him and shit. Wow. The Green Lanterns and freaking Themyscira and the Amazon, they fear him? Wow. And then he had another post-credit. And then it showed him in another film wrecking a Green Lantern. You'd be like, fuck, he just killed a Green Lantern like nothing. Zeus and all the gods had a team up on him and he still ain't dead. And then he appeared in Justice League and he was wrecking shit. Everybody would have been like, yeah, this fool is lit. He's laying waste. But why do we trash him? Because he was just thrown in Justice League and we don't know nothing about him besides the fact that he's doing it for Darkseid and he looked trash with that weak-aided CG he got. That's exactly who Thanos is, bruh. If you take away the post-credit scenes from Thanos in the MCU throughout the 10 years, all you have is a Steppenwolf. Even less than. Because he doesn't have motivations and we don't know why he's doing what he's doing. These are facts, Jack. Imagine if you never... You have to open your minds. Imagine if you never got a post-credit scene of Thanos ever and he just popped up in Infinity War like we saw. Imagine you saw Infinity War and you just saw a guy and then he started punching and beating the Hulk up out of no reason. You're gonna be like, what the freak? Who's this guy? What? How is he doing this to the Hulk? How's Thanos? How? This film, that's a problem. This film relies, it actually crutches itself on the post-credit scenes that came before it. And it doesn't stand on its own within its own film. That's what I'm talking about. And that's why I say that freaking Steppenwolf is a more fleshed out villain than Thanos is, bruh. I'm sorry. He ain't better than Thanos. Thanos is way more epic, way more cool, way more powerful. I said a better fleshed out villain. If we're gonna go villains, Steppenwolf takes that. But he's trash though. So now that we got that little shit out the way about how I feel about why Thanos takes an L as a villain. You already told you how I don't like how he looks and I'm not gonna nitpick on stuff like that. I'm gonna get into the issues with this film. And a lot of them rely on previous MCU movies and they also rely on its action. This film relies on its action almost as much as Mad Max Fury Road. Mad Max Fury Road is nothing but action with a little bit of story. That's exactly what Infinity War is. What's the story for Infinity War? That's not a rhetorical question. There is no story for Infinity War. It's bad guy comes to fight good guys assemble, beat him again. What was the story for Civil War? Cap's death of his parents, found out that it was fraud, found out his best friend Captain America knew. Baron Zemo exposed it. December 1991. With the freaking Winter Soldier, the Sokovia Accords, Civil War, fighting for the government, fighting against the government, who to trust, Winter Soldier, Hydra, everything. He's questioning who he is as a person, who he's working for. He's questioning the higher ups, the lower down. These are story elements. What's the story for Infinity War? Thanos getting stones to beat up people and snap his fingers. There is no story in this movie. It has no plot. You know what the plot is? You know, I seen 3 movie reviews. I seen 3 of them, and they were spoiler reviews. And do you know what each and every review did? And I guarantee you that if you look at the most of your movie reviewers that you look, each one of those spoiler reviews were recaps, bruh. Because they can't talk about story elements of Infinity War. You know what they do? They talk about what they saw in Infinity War. Oh, when Thanos came and did this, when Thanos came and did that. They're describing action, bruh, because there's no story to talk about. Oh, when Thor came with this, when Captain America did this, when he showed up, I was like, wow. They're talking about action. The action, this movie relies on the action for the story because it don't have one, and a lot of y'all motherfuckers got blinded by it. I'm sitting here watching like, okay, what's up? What's going on with Thanos? And Thor, and why the freak is... I wrote stuff down, and I wrote so much stuff down that my fingers started to hurt from all of the bullet points that I have here that I want to talk about. Thor. Let's talk about Thor, okay? I'm going to destroy this character right now. He was awesome and cool in the film, right? Okay, good. Inconsistent. The biggest problem with this film is that it doesn't make sense. Really, remember that word, making sense. That phrase needs to be remembered. Making sense. That means a lot to me, and it should mean a lot to you in film. If it doesn't make sense to me, freak this film. But I'll take it because it's epic and the action is nice. That's why I gave it a C. If it doesn't make sense, then I ain't effing with it. And this film don't make no sense, especially after the freaking 17 Marvel movies I've seen before it. It doesn't make sense. Thor was learning about, in Ragnarok, what was it? Asgard is not a place, it's a people. Well, guess what? All your people got wiped out. Okay, there we go. I'm like, dang, Thanos did some shit. What was the other lesson of Ragnarok? Are you Thor, god of hammers? The message and what everybody loved about Thor, what they were saying they loved, is that Thor learned that he doesn't need a hammer to be great. But this film taught you that he needs a hammer to be great. He went from Ragnarok, from learning that it's not about a weapon, it's about who I am, to being a little pussy and running around the galaxy to find a weapon so he could be powerful, so he could be who he is. That's a huge contradiction within the MCU, bruh. And what the freak is Stormbringer doing in this movie anyway? What the freak is Stormbringer doing going to get 6 Infinity Stone Gauntlet, bruh? Miss me with that shit. Miss me with... You mean to tell me that Thor, all this time, knew of the planet Nowhere and knew that there was a nigga making swords and staffs and candlesticks that are more powerful than Infinity Stones, and he didn't go get that shit when his planet was blowing up, bruh? No, I call bullshit. It doesn't make sense. That's Taika Waititi effing his shit up, and that's the Russos trying to fix it, and they couldn't fix it. And it told itself on screen to me. I'm like, this makes no sense, bruh. Ragnarok, he was learning that it's not about a warhammer, it's not about a weapon, it's about who you are. And now this film is telling me, nigga, you better find a hammer or else you suck and you don't rely on yourself. It's not about who you are. You don't get that hammer, it's a wrap. And why the freak is the hammer more powerful than the Infinity? What the freak is Peter Dinklage doing? It's so much. I'm so sorry, it's so much. How is it that this universe built these Infinity Stones to be these epic, powerful gems that even one of them could just bring balance and imbalance to the universe, right? Imagine that. Imagine that you build up for 10 years over 17 movies, and in the 17th movie where they all first come together, it gets usurped by a freaking Stormbreaker. So, oh, here's all the stones that you guys loved so much. Oh, But here's also a hammer that's more powerful than all those stones for the last 10 years you've been wanting. Miss me with that shit. The epic buildup you built up for this gauntlet and these stones just got wiped away by a hammer that he went to go pick up by melting freaking gold bars. Man, miss me. I'm not buying it. It doesn't make sense. You can't do that. You can't just wipe away the infinity. The infinity gauntlet means nothing now. What you essentially have done in this film is you completely took it away the relevancy of the infinity stones. Because I just saw Thor's hammer go through. Thanos blasted a max power infinity gauntlet blast with 6 stones in it, and his hammer went right through that beam and right into his chest, bruh. Why the freak didn't you rewind time and fix yourself? Freak this movie, bruh. You were around time to get Vision's stone back, right? But you couldn't use the time stone to rewind time to fix that hole in your chest, bruh? You sitting there on the chair leaking, bleeding, and smiling and just hurting, halfway dead. By choice, nigga? Use the time stone and heal yourself. None of that could have happened. You could have came into Wakanda and changed the reality so it doesn't exist and they think they're fighting marshmallows, and then you could have took Vision's freaking head from him because Vision is looking at you, Thanos, and he thinks you're a delicious looking cream-filled bean pie. Oh, come here, bean pie. As soon as he gets close, take that stone. What the freak, bruh? You were turning beams into bubbles when they were relevant to making the story go further, but then other beams you were taking to the body. You let Iron Man blast you, and you had the reality stone. Why didn't you turn that shit into bubbles? Nothing in the film should have touched him. And I'm not talking about comic book knowledge. Get that shit out of here. I'm talking about within the MCU that they gave us. I'm talking about within his own movie, bruh. You showed Thanos turning anything into bubbles. Why didn't he turn everything into bubbles? It makes no sense. He should have been able to turn that hammer into bubbles, but we know that that's not true because clearly they made the hammer stronger than the Infinity Gauntlet at max power. You okay with that? I'm not. I waited 10 years for this shit, bro. Don't disrespect my intelligence. Don't do me like that. Russos, hold this L. Y'all wrote this? Feige approved this? Hold this L. I ain't done. Okay. You see how Thor, almighty powerful Thor, when he came in, I ain't gonna lie, that was epic. When he came in, they played the Avengers score. They only played it once in the whole movie. That's a travesty. But it was when Thor came to Wakanda. And he did the hammer smash. And everybody destroyed in that area. Why were they still fighting for another 20 minutes? You mean to tell me that this nigga, almighty Thanos with the Infinity Gauntlet, is turning, warping realities and wrecking niggas left and right across over the universe, teleporting whenever he feels like it's necessary? Nah, that's not true. I'm gonna talk about that. And you mean to tell me that someone more powerful than Thanos is in Wakanda fighting Chitauri 2.0 and you can't wreck them? What the freak you been doing the whole time, Thor? You should have took that hammer and wiped everybody out. But you're trying to knock out ships and rolly wheels. What the freak have you been doing? And then Thanos comes and you wrecked him? So you mean to tell me that you're more powerful than Thanos, yet you were struggling with these Chitauri 2.0 niggas? And you let motherfuckers get wrecked, your friends are getting bodied, and you had all this power this whole time? That doesn't make sense to me. I acknowledged this as soon as I'm watching. I said, this makes no sense. So wait, Thor's stronger than Thanos with this hammer, but he was struggling and taking forever in this battle at Wakanda? It doesn't make sense. It's beautiful to watch. I never talked about its beauty. Let me go ahead and give you guys something real quick. If I'm gonna judge this on entertainment, it gets an A+. There, I gave you what you wanted. Get out of my channel, bye. If that's what you wanted. I thought we were grading films here. I thought this was a movie that you have to freaking grade. Just like Winter Soldier and Civil War. This is a eye candy, epic, bad movie. It's an eye candy, epic, mediocre movie. That's the problem I have with this. But I'm not done. Let's go ahead and go on. I think I'm done with Thor and his imbalances. His shit has just wrecked my freaking heart. Do you guys remember all the questions about where's the soul stone? Heimdall, orange eyes, got the letter H. It's Heimdall. Oh, it's on Wakanda. Duh, the soul of the old Black Panthers that came before it. Duh, the Soul Stone's power in that. Yeah, everybody making videos, everybody thinking. And then Kevin Feige or whoever's freaking idea was to swoop the rug out of all of his fans' feet and say, ha ha ha, gotcha. Gamora knew where it was the whole time. Miss me. Gamora knew the location of the Soul Stone this whole time? And now you're trying to reveal that to us in this film? I call bullshit. You can't do things like this. This film had so much in it that they clash with one another. You know when you get a pizza and you put tasteful pepperonis on there and where it's got a nice blend of cheese and pepperoni, and then you throw ham and then cilantro and then bell peppers and mushrooms and this, and then it ruins the pizza. The dough gets soggy, the cheese doesn't melt all the way. That's exactly what this freaking movie is, bruh. You should have kept it more simple. Thanos, come, give us why you're here, wreck these niggas, let us know with the belief of us understanding why you do what you do, wreck these mother freakers, and then we just go into a part 2. And don't do no extra shit, don't unbalance the characters, don't destroy me with the stupid power scaling. Just be simple. You guys reached too far and you came up missing. I'm not done. Speaking of Gamora knowing the location of the Soul Stone, what the freak? I saw Red Skull in this movie. Everybody was, oh, Red Skull, what are you doing here, Red Skull? Red Skull looked like he was playing death to me. Was that your representation of death, bruh? He looked like he was embodying death. Now, that's bullshit. Let me break this scene down. I'm gonna break down Thanos' intelligence and his gullibility in this scene. You spent all these years killing all these people, destroying all these souls to get these stones, no matter what it takes. And then you let this nigga Red Skull say, you have to give your daughter for the stone, a life for a life. And you killed her. Off of this nigga's word that you don't know? You let a red nigga in a ghost mask, he could have been lying, bruh. You let this motherfucker tell you, you try to find no other option. You just believed him. And it's that type of stuff that it doesn't make sense. You could have fixed that scene by easily showing us him trying to make a sacrifice of some sort, and then the soul realm rejects it. It goes, it just rejects it. He's like, what's going on? And then he explains, you gotta do more, something that you love. Something that he could have chopped off his own arm and threw it down there as a sacrifice. And it goes, ooh. It does not accept this. Why? Something that you love. And then he uses the reality stone to get his arm back. Or time stone to get his arm back. And then he has to realize this nigga's telling the truth. Now let me kill the one person that I love in this universe. You let a random stranger make you kill your daughter, bruh, without even questioning him. What a gullible idiot. He could have been lying to you, bruh. That's freaking crazy as heck to me, bruh. That's crazy as heck. Doesn't make sense. You see what I'm saying? Because they set Thanos up to be this very smart, very intelligent villain, but he believes strangers and let strangers trick him into murdering his own daughter. You see what I'm saying? Star-Lord. There was way too much Guardians of the Galaxy in this movie. So much so that it overshadowed characters that needed to be here. And I'm gonna name one character that should have been in this movie more, and it breaks my heart, and his name is Captain America. It is a travesty that my man Cap was really not in this film at all, and he was absolutely wasted, and he was not given the respect that he deserves. Star-Lord, I'm trying to get this straight. Star-Lord, Gamora, Star-Lord, Spider-Man, Iron Man, Drax, and freaking Mantis almost defeated Thanos with 4 Infinity Stones on his gauntlet. They were pulling him and taking the gauntlet off of his body. Are you kidding me? And do you know why he didn't? Do you know why they didn't succeed? Not because the plan didn't work, because it clearly worked. Because Star-Lord found out that he killed Gamora, and this stupid whack trash motherfreaker punching him in the face. Why the freak is this human punching Thanos in the face, and it's actually hurting Thanos? I don't know why. To the point where Mantis can't even hold on to his brain for some reason, and then he gets out of the trance and takes his gauntlet back. Are you freaking kidding me? Tony Stark said, nigga, look, we have his gauntlet off. Don't do it. Don't do it. And he does, you know, Star-Lord was beating the shit. He was giving it to Thanos. Oh yes, you remember what I said about Doctor Strange putting those little step stools? I said he better not be doing that to shoot them blasters or to attack Thanos. Nah, you don't know. Watch the movie, Jody. Watch the movie, Jody. Well, guess what? He was putting those stupid dumb things to shoot his blasters or attack Thanos. Put a device on his back, flipping him off with the tunnels and shit that Doctor Strange could do. Really giving it to this man with 4 Infinity Stones. None of those motherfreakers should have been doing anything to Thanos, bruh. None of them. Based on the movie, not the comic. Based on how he... What did you look at... What did he do to the Hulk? What did he do to the Hulk in the first scene? He bodied the shit out of him. I loved it too, by the way. That's the same Thanos that was taking L's to Star-Lord and Iron Man. You see this? You see what I mean by characters are OP and then they're weak? Do you know why they are? They're using the power scaling to advance the plot that doesn't exist. See, when you have a story that doesn't exist and you rely on its action to tell the story, you come across issues like this. So we need this to be climactic, where they look like they're going to beat Thanos, but we're not going to do it with a story element that we write in there, like he says a phrase or they trick him and then the gauntlet loses harmony of some. No, we're going to have them physically attack Thanos and literally pull the gauntlet off of him. Miss me. The same motherfucker that had the Hulk afraid to show himself, bruh. Hulk was wasted in this movie. I don't hear nobody talking about that. The same person that beat the shit out of the Incredible Hulk was getting bodied by Star-Lord and Iron Man and Doctor Strange. Oh, and he had 4 stones. And he did that to the Hulk with 1 stone. And you didn't even show us how he got the stone. Thanos had 2 stones. He had the Power Stone and he went to Nova Corps and got it. And you didn't even show us that. You must have cut that out. You edited that out completely. It's incredible. The director's cut is going to be insane, or they're just going to shelve it. I don't know what they're going to do. But this type of shit pisses me off, man. It doesn't make sense. It's the power scaling that plagues this film so much, man, because it makes a lot of the characters that I knew and loved not make sense because of what they do and what they don't do. Star-Lord bodied Spider-Man. I guess we're okay with this. Star-Lord, a human with pistol blaster guns, bruh, he captured and held ransom Spider-Man. It doesn't make sense. Captain America was wasted in this film. I loved seeing him for the 3 minutes that I seen him in this movie. Let me give you a scene that happened in this film that is completely trash, but it was epic. This is what the Russos did to trick you. They tricked a lot of you because here's how they tricked you. Vision and Scarlet Witch, 2 of the most powerful characters on the Avengers, right? In all the other films. In Civil War, Vision he paralyzed War Machine, for Pete's sake. Scarlet Witch threw Vision in 5,500 feet of concrete in Civil War. They're powerful, but yet they got wrecked by 2 members of the Black Order, Proxima Midnight and the buff guy. The same buff guy who got murdered by a freaking force field in Wakanda. It doesn't make sense. Back to the scene where Proxima Midnight stabbed Vision. Vision is a robot. He shouldn't be hurting like that. There's no, he's a robot. Heal yourself. But I understand that maybe it was a special dagger. He said he couldn't phase through it. Okay, I'll give you that. But he is still strong and powerful. And Scarlet Witch is still strong and powerful. And she was struggling against Proxima Midnight and the buff guy. And do you know that they were more powerful than Vision and Scarlet Witch? But what made it okay? Who saved them? Do you remember? Falcon, Black Widow, and a no-shield Captain America. You mean to tell me that Black Widow, Falcon, and a no-shield Captain America were more stronger and more skilled and more powerful than Vision and Scarlet Witch? Because when they came, everybody was like, oh, look at him, look at him. They was beating the shit out of them. Falcon shooting regular pea shooters and it was hurting them. Proxima Midnight was like, oh, the buff guy, we'll be back. And they teleport. What? 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 It doesn't make sense. The same Proxima Midnight that freaking Okoye and freaking Black Widow were freaking triple and double teaming in Wakanda, that same person was the same person wrecking Vision and Scarlet Witch. It doesn't make sense. This is within the context of its own film. The Black Widow was whack, except this guy, but he was whack too. Because what happened? Iron Man shot him out of a freaking hole and he was done. Anticlimactic death for all of them. She got killed by a rolling wheel. He got killed by a force field. He got sucked out in outer space. And I don't know what happened to the other motherfucker. They all died whack. So they're trash. The Black Order are essentially trash in this movie, bruh. I can't believe that they made it seem like Captain America, Falcon, and Black Widow are more formidable than Vision and Scarlet Witch. When all three of them, Captain America, Black Widow, and Falcon, are not even more powerful than just Scarlet Witch or just Vision. Because I guarantee you in Civil War, if Captain America, Black Widow, and Falcon tried to fight Vision, Vision would wreck all three of them. It doesn't make sense. This whole universe is flipped on its head. Infinity War is the reverse of Batman versus Superman. Batman versus Superman wrecked the whole universe that came after it, and Infinity War is wrecking it from the top down. It makes all the other films not make sense. It's crazy to me. But yet, everybody cheered and loves that scene. Why? Because you saw Captain America and Black Widow and Falcon come and the music was playing. That's why. You didn't think, like, God dang, this is Vision and Scarlet Witch. How the frick are these regular mortals, humans, gonna help us against these Black Order motherfrickers? Nobody thought that. They just said, yay, and moved on. Not me, bruh. Speaking of Captain America, all you salty, fanboy, douchebag, nerd, booger nose, dweeb, and my subscribers too. Remember when I reacted to the trailer and I said Captain America's holding Thanos' hand? And half of you idiots said he had orange eyes. His eyes are orange. It's an infinity stone. He's powerful. No. And the other half of you idiots said, Jody, man, why are you always judging trailers, man? Wait for the movie. Wait for the movie. You haven't even seen the movie. You don't even know the context. Yeah, I'm talking to you. The same one that just clicked from this video just now because I'm about to wreck your shit. How you feel now, baby? You know why? I waited for the movie. And you know what? It got worse. The scene got worse because, yes, that was human Captain America holding back. This is BVS shit, bruh. You motherfreakers, man. You motherfreakers don't understand. I am in the Twilight Zone. I am in a world where people are giving Marvel a pass and they're wrecking DC for the same shit. No. Oh, but I'm a DC fanboy. But wait a minute. I ranted BVS. I trashed Suicide Squad. Why? Why am I? When you're a fan of both, you get the worst of both worlds. And hey, put it on me, you dumb motherfreakers. Captain America stopped Thanos Titan his hand with what the trailer? The trailer, he had 2 stones on the gauntlet, right? He had 5 in the movie. With 5 stones, Thanos, he wasn't struggling, Jody. Look at his face. Niggas sending me shit on Twitter, bruh. I know you guys are embarrassed now. I know you guys don't want to hear me say I told you so, but here it is. I told you so. Just like I told y'all that Ragnarok looked trash in the trailer. I told you guys Ragnarok looked like a fruit stripe gum joke lighthearted mess. And y'all said wait for the movie, and what happened? It was a fruit stripe gum lighthearted joke mess. And we doing it again. Mere mortal Captain America stopped the hand of Thanos. Oh, that's blasphemous in itself. But what happened then? He gave up trying to smash Captain America because it was a stalemate. Captain America was just too strong. He was too strong for Thanos with 5 stones that Thanos had to use his other hand and punch him in the face. Knocked him out. I thought he was dead. I was like, oh my God, Cap's dead. That's what I said to myself in the movie. I said, whoa, he's dead. I said, there it is. I was like, what? I didn't know what to feel. I was so mad that he was holding his gauntlet back. And then I was so like, and then it made sense that he got punched and killed. I was like, oh my God. And then like 5 minutes later, after I got wrecked with the Stormbringer, you know, beating the Infinity Gauntlet, you know, this movie is constant wreckage. Every scene I was getting wrecked. My common sense was getting wrecked. I was just constant, bruh. And then after Thanos leaves, this nigga, Captain America, what happened? What are you talking about, bro? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Captain America took a Thanos punch, bro, and lived? Come on, man. It doesn't make sense. Those of you guys calling this nitpicks, the fanboys calling these nitpicks, is because you don't want to deal with the truth. These scenes are the story of this movie because there is no story in this movie. So all we have is the accumulation of everything that the MCU gave us. So Thanos that bodied the Hulk in 10 seconds using combos and uppercuts with 1 stone in his gauntlet couldn't win a wrestling match with Captain America, a human, with 5 stones in his gauntlet, and then punched him and didn't kill him. Okay. Can you make sense of that? That's a rhetorical question. You can't make sense of that because it doesn't make sense. You can't make sense of something that doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. So what you're saying is Captain America could take a Hulk punch and maybe not even get knocked out. Because Thanos was clearly stronger than the Hulk in this movie. And he had 5 stones when he punched Captain America. So this is a very safe assumption to say. And I'm going to say it. Captain America could take the Hulk on one-on-one. Problem? I know you don't have a problem with me saying that, right? Because I just seen him take a punch with 5 stones from Thanos. I saw him have a stalemate in strength with Thanos, bruh. I know you don't have a problem with that. Here it is. Here it is. I got another one. Captain America could take a full-scale punch from the Hulk and live. We know that's a fact. He could take a punch from Vision. He could take a punch from Thor. He could take a Thor's hammer straight to the top of his head and he won't die then. It doesn't make sense. Action led the story, no story, all that. Thanos bodies the Hulk, but he gets wrecked home. Oh. All right, let's get to this guy. Let's get to Iron Man. Before, my favorite part in the whole movie, I want to say this real quick, is when Tom Holland as Spider-Man, he's amazing. When he was like, I don't feel good. I don't want to go. I don't want to go. I don't want to go, Mr. Stark. Mr. Stark, I don't want to go. I said, freak, thank you. I feel this. I said, that's good. That's the best acting. He was the best actor in this movie. He was the best actor in this movie. A 17-year-old, 18, 20, or whatever kid outperformed everybody in this film. So Thanos bodies Hulk in the first scene, wrecks his shit. beats all the Guardians of the Galaxy. And then Iron Man. There's so much bad things with this movie. I'm losing my voice and I'm losing my patience. I just want to cut this camera off right now, bruh. This Infinity War ruined the MCU for me. The whole arc with Thanos, this movie ruined it. It's the BVS of Marvel. I don't give a freak what you say. As the more and more I break this down, the more and more all of those movies that came before it make very little sense. It's either you take Infinity War as canon or you take the rest of the MCU as canon. Which one you want? It sounds like you guys want to go with Infinity War because all you guys loved it. So if you're doing that, then the rest of the MCU doesn't mean much. Captain America in Civil War and Winter Soldier was Superman, but he didn't want to be Superman until Infinity War then. Back to Iron Man. I need to speak closer. I can't scream anymore. I just don't have it in me. I'm so drained. I am so drained by this shit. Iron Man soloed Thanos. For those of you, it's funny because if no one watched the film and they're hearing my review, their ears and their eyes would be bleeding because they wouldn't believe the shit that I'm saying that is in this film. Everything that I'm saying is in this film. And if my future self told my past self this, like a month ago, my future self said, "Hey, Jody, I got something to tell you, bruh. This happens. This happens. Thanos does this. Thor does this." I would die. I wouldn't believe it. I just wouldn't believe it. I still don't believe this shit. Iron Man soloed Thanos. He was bringing up. It was cool. It was. No, see this. Oh, this is how the Russo brothers tricked you yet again, because they showed a mere mortal in a iron suit go against a god deity with how many stones did he have in that fight? 4 stones. Yeah, he had 4 stones in that fight, and yeah, he was wrecking Thanos. And you know what? I think he made him bleed as well. He was doing choo choo boom 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 blasting boom. I said, "Oh shoot! I didn't know Iron Man was that strong." He's not. It don't make sense. He made him bleed, bruh. With 4, bruh. Why didn't you turn any of those beams into bubbles? Why didn't you use the space stone? You see, Thanos, they dumbed down Thanos and they powered him up when it fit the plot. I'm going to power him up to show him wreck the Hulk. Now I'm going to dumb him down to make Tony Stark look awesome. You can't do that because there's no story and your action is telling the story. So now you make a freaking foolish looking nonsensical movie. Thanos got cut by Iron Man and he bodied the Hulk. So what you're telling me is that Iron Man is stronger than the Hulk without the Hulk Buster. It doesn't make sense. This is one of the I'm gonna go down this list again. The no build-up and development for Thanos. It relied on the past MCU movies to try to hide Thanos' lack of depth. The power scaling is one of probably the #1 issue with this film. The time stone. Why didn't Thanos rewind time? How come Thanos didn't rewind time to save his daughter? How come Thanos didn't rewind time to take out the axe from his chest? How come Thanos didn't rewind time when he was getting the Infinity Gauntlet, took it off of his body, to just rewind time and make sure that they couldn't do any of that? Why didn't he change realities enough? Do you know why? They dumped him down right in front of your eyes in order for this story to keep moving forward, because they didn't have a story to rely on. They were relying on action to tell the story, and that is a travesty. This ain't Mad Max Fury Road, bruh. I completely destroyed Thor and his whole character. Get the freak out of my life. The Ragnarok is trash. Oh, by the way, I changed my grade for Ragnarok now after Infinity War. If we're going with Infinity War, Ragnarok is now an F, because none of it made sense and it was for no reason. Oh, Heimdall. Do you guys remember when Heimdall used his Bifrost powers in his last dying breath to send the Hulk to Earth? Here's something you guys didn't realize. That was a waste. He used his Bifrost powers to send the Hulk, a nigga who just got bodied in front of him, to Earth. And what did the Hulk do when he got to Earth? Did he help fight? That nigga didn't even come back out Hulk no more, bruh. Waste. I can't talk enough about the 10 years worth of Infinity War being overshadowed by this Stormbringer hammer. Everything involved with the planet Nowhere, Peter Dinklage's character and what he was doing, all of that felt rushed and it didn't make sense. Everything that I was seeing felt rushed. And I'm like, you're going really fast, but still not telling me anything. You're just showing me. You're showing me action scenes and everybody's leaking. I was leaking too. I'm like, this is epic. But the difference between me and probably 90% of the world on YouTube in movies is that I don't get tricked by iconicness. I admit when stuff is epic and I still trash it because it didn't have the other categories checked in the boxes. I did that with Justice League. I called Justice League an epic mess. Infinity War is an epic mess. You guys just accept it and take it because it's epic. That's enough for you. It's not enough for me. These are films. These are films. 10-year buildup. Russo brothers we trust, right? Hold this L, Russos. My number one problem with this movie, and this disappointed me as a fan of Marvel and the MCU. It saddened me and it offended me. That fact that the Russos didn't think of this. I know it's coming in part 4, but freak part 4. I'm talking about this movie. You didn't give it to me. Russos and Feige didn't give it to us, the fans. There was no scene with Captain America and Iron Man. They didn't share a single scene in this movie. They did not fight and battle together the bloody battles that they should have had together. You know, I was cherishing and hoping that I would cherish that in the movie. I explained it. I said, what if Captain America and they were fighting till there was just those two left? And then Iron Man was like, no, I'm gonna take, and then Captain America went in front of a beam and took it to save Tony Stark's life. Shit, that would have made me cry, bruh. Or vice versa. Iron Man jumps in front of Tony because he feels guilty about what happened in Civil War, about him knowing about his parents. The reverse of that. What about that? None of that was here. You filmed this in different locations and in different times. It's obvious. You didn't even have the whole crew when you were filming this movie. You just, hey, you want to come in on Tuesday? Can you come in on Thursday? All right, we'll make it happen. That's not how you do it. You had these different little mini battles. One on this planet, one on a ship, one on Earth. And there was no real war. This is Infinity War, right? These were just spars and exchanges of will. There was no real war. The Avengers didn't fight Thanos yet. The Avengers didn't even fight Thanos. Captain America and Iron Man and the rest of them weren't even all together and fought Thanos yet. How do you do that? How? I didn't get to see Captain America lead the team on the attack against Thanos? How do you do that to me? I just feel like it left a bad taste in my mouth and it hurt me. Like, bruh, how you make this movie based on Captain America and Iron Man and you don't have Captain America and Iron Man in the cum shot of everything they did? And you just sidelined Captain America like that to big up Tony Stark? That's not right. That's not right. I gotta save some for the spoiler discussion. I got the rest of the Justice League coming, and I'm gonna wreck them with these same facts. And on Wednesday, I invite you guys to come to the live stream because I'm the only one of my crew that thinks that this movie's mediocre, and everybody else is giving it A's and B+. Everyone else gave it an A. Savage gave it a B+. So it's way up there. I'm gonna enjoy bringing these facts to the table, and I'm gonna be looking at their faces when they make up excuses for it. You can't make an excuse for this shit that was said here. Now, after all of these things, if you still feel like this movie is an A+, that's just fanboy. That's fan service that you're falling for, because you cannot check the boxes on this film. Script was trash. Story was trash, non-existent. Direction was mediocre. The only boxes that you can check are action and score. I could check those boxes because both of those did well. But all the other boxes you can't even check. Winter Soldier destroys this movie. Civil War destroys this movie. Black Panther destroys this movie. The first Avengers destroys this movie. Can you remember having an epic tingly moment like you did in the first Avengers? When they first came together and the Avengers assembled and they played that music and it panned around them? I didn't feel anything even close to that in this film. And that is a travesty in itself. And that's why this film gets to see. So hopefully I laid it down, and hopefully you guys have a glimpse of what I'm talking about. There's a lot more. You know, there is so much more to talk about that I'm just leaving alone and I'm saving for later. That's how much I have a problem with this film. And that's all of the freaking inconsistencies that are part of this film. It's so very inconsistent, and it doesn't blend with the universe that came before it. All right, that's it for me. Subscribe to the channel or unsubscribe if you're a fanboy. I'm Jody Joe, and I'm out this thing. Deuces.